Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chika, your interior designer. So if this is your first time of coming across this channel, I'm glad that you did. So today's video may not be the regular videos that my subscribers see. So as you know, I'm not just an online interior designer or an online interior design teacher. I also teach in a physical interior design school, right? So this video is kind of an extension for our students so that it will be easy for me to refer them to this video. And today we're going to be talking about the scale rule. I have done a couple of videos about scale rule, how to use the scale rule for beginners, right? I have done those already. So you can refer back to that just in case you need to catch up with this. Okay, so there's the same question that keeps recurring amongst the students, the beginners, when it comes to scale rule. So I'm going to briefly go back to a bit about scale rule for beginners. So this is a scale rule. It is a three-sided ruler, if you choose to call it that, a three-sided ruler used by interior designers, architects, engineers, and a lot of people in the design field. So what it basically does, it enables you to represent large objects on a piece of paper on a smaller scale. So imagine that you have to draw an entire mall as big as the mall is, having to put it on paper. The scale rule helps you represent that accurately. By accurately means that if you measure 1 meter in real life, you would accurately measure it the same using the same dimension on a piece of paper. So if you have a 50 square meter building physically on your paper, it would also be 50 square meters because it helps you accurately represent it. Okay, so today's question is same as the last time. They keep asking, how do I know what scale to use? How do I know what scale to use? How do I know which of the scales to use? As if you have gone through the other videos, you'll see that on each side of the scale rule, different ratios are represented. 1 is to 20, 1 is to 200, 1 is to 150, 1 is to 75, 1 is to 750. Yeah, that's how the numbers go. So those are different ratios, right? And the other side, we also have meters and centimeters. So if you measure your space in meters, it would only make sense for you to also use the ratios here in meters, right? It will be a bit confusing and you have to do the conversion if you measure in meters and then you have to use centimeters to draw. It may be a bit confusing. So stick to the meters. If you measure the meters, stick to that and draw using meters as well. So again, how do you know what scale to use? So if someone has given you a floor plan, right, and has written maybe this floor plan was drawn 1 is to 200 or 1 is to whatever, you can use that to draw your own floor plan. Okay, but if you haven't been given that and you have to pick a scale for yourself, what determines how you pick a scale? So it's simple. Your available paper determines the scale that you use. As simple as that. Let me explain. So let's assume, so in class we use sketchpad, and the sketchpad is an A3 size. A3 size is bigger than an A4. So I mean, you're at liberty to pick whatever scale you want to use because I mean you have a lot of paper, right? So imagine that you have the A3 paper at home and your scale ruler and you have designed something nice on it, and then you have to, and then you're with your client and you want to represent something real quick for the client and you have your scale rule, but of course you don't have your A3 sketchpad and you probably have an A4 paper or something smaller, but you need to represent that same thing you represented on your A3 paper at home, right? You can still represent it using any of the scales. So as I said, your available paper determines that. So let's assume that at home you used let's say 1 is to maybe 50, 1 is to 50 or 1 is to 33 at home, right? And then you have a small paper. It means that you cannot use that 1 is to 50 anymore. So assuming that you have taken your measurement of the space you want to work on, and the longest number or the largest number on your dimension is on your layout is 16 meters, right? That's the longest number. So you have to take your scale rule and your available paper and look at all the scales, right? Which of these scales can I fit that 16 meters into conveniently? Meaning that you draw your 60-meter line and then you still have a little bit of space around just in case you need to do anything, right? So let me take a look at the scale rule and see which scale we can comfortably draw a 60-meter line on a small paper. Let me say I have a small paper here. Okay, so assuming that this is our paper, right? This is our paper and we want to fit in a 60-meter line into this paper. So I'm looking at 1:200. So with 1:200, a 60-meter space would fit into this space, but this is how small the drawing would be. This small, okay? And as interior designers, we need our spaces to be large enough so that we can probably do furniture placement into the space when we're drawing. So 1:200 doesn't work, okay? Now 1:150. 1:150. Remember that our largest number is 16 meters. So 1:150 still doesn't work because on 1:150, the largest number here is 16, and this is where it is. So it doesn't even fit into the paper. So we cannot use 1:50. 1:500, we cannot also use 1:500 because this is how small the drawing is going to be. It would not make sense. Okay, so we can't use that. 1:250. 1:250 would fit, but it would also be pretty small. Okay, so the best scale to use here would be 1:100, considering the available paper we have. With 1:100, right, this, our 16 meters would be around here, right, almost at the end of the paper, right? So it means that we can accurately represent that space, which has the largest number as 16 meters. So with this paper, we can conveniently draw whatever we need to draw, having it in mind that your largest number is 16 meters. We can use the 1:100, right? So this doesn't mean that you would always have to use 1:100 because you have used it on a small paper. As I said, look out for the longest number on your layout or on the drawing that you have. The longest number you have will determine the ratio that you use. Okay, if you have a scale rule at home, try it so that it will help you understand better. Just figure out the longest number you have on your layout and then check if it fits into the paper that you have. If it's a small paper, see if it fits. If it's a larger paper, figure out what scale will fit better so that it will help you design your space accurately. This video has taken longer than it should, but I hope that this helps. This is the question that keeps coming up. I hope this helps. I hope this clarifies whatever is in your mind. Scale rule is an important tool for interior designers because space planning is an essential part of interior design. If you don't know how to plan spaces, if you don't understand space planning, I don't think you're qualified to be called an interior designer. Because I mean, interior design doesn't always require decoration and accessorizing, right? Sometimes you just need to plan a space. Like in class, I asked them, because the new students always feel like interior design is beautifying a house, beautifying a hotel. I asked them, okay, so what if your first project is to work on a supermarket? I mean, supermarkets are kind of basic. You just plan the space. So what would you do? That's the question for you who is also an aspiring interior designer. I hope you enjoyed this.